Good afternoon and welcome to Markets Today. I'm your host, Mbithe Mwema. It's the middle of the week, Wednesday the 25th of September. Very exciting day on the Nairobi Securities Exchange. We have seen a lot of trading activity, especially on Safaricom, go through the market. We will be giving you a highlight of what is happening there as we go through the show today. The second most important thing that we want to bring to your attention is Mumias Sugar that has actually been put under receivership, and that's by KCB, one of the debtors, rather the banks that have extended credit to this particular bank. We will be giving you an overview and a profile of this company. What has happened? What is happening to its share price? What is a review of the financial statements? We'll also be giving you the repercussions of what going into receivership means for you as a shareholder of the stock on the NSE. Over and above that, the Communication Authority of Kenya has released the Q4 2018-2019 sector statistics. Now, these statistics show what's happening with regards to voice, data, fixed data, that is fiber to the home, as well as what's happening on M-Pesa payments. It shows the rankings of the different telecoms in the industry and all the players in this particular industry. We'll be having a review of this and looking at if Safaricom is doing better than it was in the previous quarter, and if there's any upside with regards to where it's trading at. For that conversation and much more in the telecom sector, we are joined by Mrs. Tracy Omolo, who's a senior analyst with Telema, and she covers the telecom industry both in Africa and within the emerging markets. Now let's go back to what's happening on the NSE. 30 million shares have been traded just before we came to the show. 30 million shares have been traded in Safaricom at market, and it's mostly been foreign sellers as well as foreign buyers. 3 brokers have done this, but the majority of the trade, 24 million, was done by one particular trader with a foreign seller, much of that with a foreign buyer. Nothing much has happened outside of that. Very little trades that have come through on KCB. About 2 million shares have been traded, and the rest of the market has been muted. Now let's take a look at Mumias Sugar. We have the price chart lined up there for you. So yesterday evening, KCB came out and put the sugar producer under receivership, appointing a new management team, starting with the chief executive officer. Now, KCB and other banks have been extending debt to Mumias Sugar for a while now, but then Mumias Sugar has been unable to repay the debt. Mumias has been engaging stakeholders, shareholders, as well as debt holders to see if best it would be able to refinance the debt that it owes to the local banking industry. However, last evening, KCB, using its mandate as the key debt holder of this particular stock, put it under receivership. Effectively, what this means is in a very short while, you'll no longer see Mumias as a listed entity on the NSE. The NSE has this morning suspended the stock, so there's nothing happening with regards to trading, largely because of details that we await to hear with regards to the modalities of this receivership. What will ideally happen? The bankers, starting with KCB, they'll be able to sell the assets to be able to earn back the debt that is owed to KCB. The ranking of the shareholders at this point in time, it's really near the bottom. Everybody else will be able to get their money back, but for you as a shareholder, you'll be lucky if you get away with anything over and above just knowing that you have been a shareholder of Mumias. Very unfortunate state, but that is the reality. How did Mumias get here? We have the 1.5-year chart, and we have it coming off from a price of 1.1 shillings up until a price of 30 cents. That's the last reported price. But more importantly, look at the revenues there. In 2014, this is a company that was generating revenues of about 13 billion. But by 2018, they were generating revenues of 1.4 billion. Conversely, with regards to profit before tax, it had a loss of 3.4 billion. The last time we actually saw a profit from Mumias Sugar was in 2012, and the last reported profit was 1.2 billion. You can see the escalation of that rather loss before taxation. That was 3.4 billion in 2014. 10.1 billion in 2018. And the question is, how do you come from a dominant sugar seller as well as supplier in Kenya, generating revenues of 13 billion in 2014, and this revenue is coming to about 1.3 billion in 2018? Now, many stories have been put out there, starting with mismanagement of the finances for this institution, as well as cartels in the supply and the production, as well as the sale of sugar. It looks like there are receipts had been inflated over time, and really some of the numbers that they have been reporting have been believed to have been overstated and not reflective of what is happening there. The unfortunate thing is shareholders that actually bought into this stock when it came into the market as an IPO. It was one of the most hyped IPOs, and it did very well for a time there. The question is, when should you have been stopping your losses? At what point should you have been reconsidering your investment in this particular stock? I think in 2013, the first time it restated and actually reported a loss for this particular year, and anytime after 2015. By the time you have a company reporting a profit of 1.2 and moving in less than 3 years to a loss before tax of 6.3 billion should have already been a warning to anyone out there who was a shareholder, is still an existing shareholder. But that said, hindsight is always 2020. Today, if you're a shareholder, unfortunately, you may not be able to recoup anything from this company. It does have assets that the banks will be looking to sell, whether it's factories, whether it's houses, whether it's cars, anything that it will be able to do, in effect, a fire sale, to be able to recoup the money that has been lent to this company. Nothing is out yet from the NSE or the CMA. We will keep you posted on that. Moving on to the Communication Authority of Kenya, they are the regulator and they compile statistics for the industry. Kyoto 4 statistics have come out for the year 2018 and 2019, positioning Safaricom still as the dominant player in this particular market, in all the market segments actually, whether it's in voice, on data, or M-Pesa, it still continues to have its dominance. We've seen a few places where Safaricom has improved. For one, in voice, there's been a slight improvement with regards to their market share. Certainly, they have the dominance when it comes to the M-Pesa payments, the value of transactions, the number of agents that are on their platform as well. And what else can be done for this particular company? We have Mrs. Tracy Omolo, who's joining us today to discuss this particular report, and over and above that, should you be buying or selling Safaricom? Is there any more upside? Is there any regulatory risk that we need to be looking at today? And if the foreigners have actually seen an opportunity to buy about 30 million shares over the day, is there something that we're missing as local investors, and what should we be paying attention to? We will be discussing this and more with regards to the telecom sector and Safaricom after we take a short break. We'll be looking out for the daily commodities when you take the break. And as always, if you have enjoyed, join us now. We are streaming live on our Facebook page as well as the YouTube page. And as always, tell a friend to join us. See you after the break.